So I think the last meeting we had was obviously last year, a whole year ago. A lot of things have changed in a year. And so we're going to go over the compensation plan tonight. Do we have anybody that's not a miner here tonight? Everybody is a miner. Everybody has a mine. Great. So I know who I'm talking to. You know, I probably 2 weeks ago, I went to AI and I said, didn't give me other information other than I'm interested in investing in cryptocurrency, in mining cryptocurrency. What do I need to be aware of? And I asked the second question is, how do I find, what's the characteristics of a crypto mining opportunity that would have built-in opportunities of success? You need to turn that up. Great. And so I said, look at all the successful coins. Let's look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Let's look back. Let's find some characteristics of those successful coins and what was in play to make them successful, as opposed on putting your money on a meme coin that hits the high dollar pretty quick, and you got to sell and get off before it crashes again. So I don't have the list with me. I'll bring it next time, but it gave me 5 criteria, 5 characteristics of successful coins and what to look out for before they become successful. It's like finding the diamond in a rough. You want to be able to buy the diamond before it gets to K Jewelers, right? You want to find it when it's a piece of coal and have some knowledge that that piece of coal is going to go under pressure, going to go under immense heat, it's going to come out as a diamond. And so most people aren't willing to do that. So when we go and buy our engagement rings, we go to the mall. Some people with wisdom would not do that, but most 90% of people would go to the mall to buy their engagement ring because it's finished, it's a final product, and you know what you pay for? That final product, polished, all the beautiful facets, nicely set in a ring, and you don't have to worry about it. But that's not an investment. You may lose money on that. So the key is to find the diamond in the rough. And the first characteristic it says, and I'll do this by memory, is infrastructure. Your coin, your mining opportunity has to have infrastructure, which means it has to have mines. It can't be a coin or an opportunity that's built on the back of an infrastructure. We're talking about layer 1. Layer 1 technology are the actual physical computer nodes that make up the network. That's what they call layer 1. Other companies come and use that. So instead of putting millions of dollars in and buying all these computer nodes, networking them all together, getting them up and running, working through all that difficult stage, companies will come on the back of layer 1. They call those layer 2. And they have the API ability then to get into that layer 1 technology and have all those computers do the work for them. So if you have MetaMask, for example, MetaMask is a layer 2 built on the back of layer 1. It's built on Ethereum. So if you're going to do any transactions in MetaMask at all, you have to pay a transaction fee to Ethereum because it's built off the Ethereum network, which is layer 1. So the first thing is said to have a successful coin with longevity, it has to have its own infrastructure. It has to be a layer 1. Secondly, it said it has to be built by not the influencers. It can't be built by influencers. It grows too quick. It's got to be built by builders, by network people that are in place, actually buying the mines, buying the coins, working with the coins. That's what it said is the second thing. So it can't be influencers and it can't be executive officers. It has to be built by regular rank and file people. I said, well, that's interesting. And I had not told AI yet I was interested in Texit coins. So it's just giving me generic information that we need in place in order to find that diamond in the rough. And so the third thing is that it has to have a utility plan. If it doesn't have the utility in place yet, at least it has to have the utility plan, which means that coin has to be doing something. You can't just speculate on it. bet on it and hope it goes up and sell them. It has to have some intrinsic value to the utility of that coin. What's it going to be used for? I thought that's fascinating because those first three things that it mentioned, I can tick the box for Texit coin. We have our own infrastructure. We are about a third way through building the mine. So there's 1 million mines, that's 100 million mega hash of the mine. That's how it's going to, the size of it at the completion of the mine. We're a third way through building that. We've got redundant centers built up. So we've got our first mine is network, of course, is up in McKinney. Then we have our mine in Mansfield. We have another backup mine, the shipping containers full of 200 of these L9 computers churning away down in Victoria, Texas. And then we've got 2 mines in Conroe. So that together makes up 1/3 of the mine. So we're on the way to do that. We've got the infrastructure. They are already building and in place layer 2. That's the utility of the coin. How is that network going to be used? So ultimately down the road, the revenue coming into the network won't be from people buying the mines because that'll be all over. Once 1 million mines have been sold, there's no more revenue coming into the company because you can't sell any more mines. But the revenue coming in will be layer 2 technology, companies, institutions paying dividends or royalties back to Texit coin for using the network. So they don't have to have 1 million mines. And so those that own those mines will be sharing in the revenue that's coming into the network from layer 2 technology. So if you've been listening to Bobby in the last couple of weeks, he is way down the road in terms of developing layer 2 technology with the API for these companies that come in. They're dealing with downtown digital dollars. That's a layer 2 that'll be actually tapping in, and Texit coin network will be crunching all the transactions because we own the computers. You own the computer. And as a landlord of the computer, you'll be paid rent for people using your computer. You're part of the network. So those are that's what AI laid down for some of the criteria that's necessary. The last thing it said was you have to identify the coin before the masses do. Before it gets to Coinbase. It mentioned Coinbase. If it's on Coinbase, it's already a diamond. It's already valued at a diamond. It's arrived. I've had people tell me, well, get back with me when it's on Coinbase because we want the security knowing that it made it to Coinbase. Well, okay, we can, but you got to buy a diamond, not a diamond in the rough. And it said you have to find it before the CNBC. What's that? NBC? What's CNBC?
It's the business channel.
Okay. And I did not know. I said, before the CNBC effect. I didn't know what CNBC. I thought, what's that mean?
Consumer News and Business Channel.
So I asked, what on earth is the CNBC effect? I'm ignorant. It says before it hits the masses, before people know about it, before it gets out there. And so that's where we are with Texit coin. It's a diamond in the rough. And so we're putting our money and betting on a coin that's got the legs on it. It's got the foundation on it, the same foundation that Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP had on them that got them up to those top positions. But you're in early to find that. And it said it has to be cheap and unknown. That's a big risk. If you're going to go to the horse races and bet on a horse, you don't find the cheap and nasty. You don't find the unknown. You want to find the one that everybody's betting on. That's got a great track record. That's won all the races, got trophies. Well, your ROI on that won't be much because everybody else is betting on the same horse. But if you bet on the Drongo, In Australia, the drongo is the horse that comes last. You bet on the drongo because you got inside information. You can make off like a bandit because of your ROI and what you have to invest in that compared to the return on that. So I think you're in a great position. And we're in a better position if we don't look at the price, the value of the coin, because it artificially went up. If you look at Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was 18 months and 2 years after it launched, we were ahead of Bitcoin at $1. At $1, we're ahead of Bitcoin. So we probably are where we should have been right now.
Right.
So, you know, if you've seen it plummet from $7 to $5, $3 to $1, it's leveled out where it's supposed to be. Now, so Bobby lost $15 million setting buy orders the last 3 or 4 months of last year to buy the coin as it was falling so it wouldn't fall, you know, off the cliff. So people that were selling coins, he was buying them back. So he bought back $15 million worth of coin off Dextrade and Bitmart as it was falling. He was holding it up. Now, I'm thinking to myself, well, we went through a whole 12 months of seeing a coin stabilize. And you look at the graph of the last 10 months, it's stair-stepped. I said to my friend in India, can I give you some USDC from my commission, and can you day trade on Texit coin? And you can make money on your end with my money. He said, no, I cannot. He said, because Texit coin is too stable. It's not volatile enough to get in there and day trade on the highs and the lows. So what was happening last year? We were on a huge cruise ship called Texit coin, but we were in the harbor. And we had tugboats moving us around. And we were standing on this big cruise ship, and we're all excited because it is smooth as silk. We can't even feel any waves. And we're moving around. I can't even hear the engines going. So the tugboats were attached to us for 10 months of last year, supporting it, putting liquidity in the market to hold it, to test it, to see what people are willing to buy it for, to put buy orders in there so if it came on down, we could buy that and stop it from falling further down. It was artificial, but necessary. You can't get on a cruise ship and charge off into the open seas. You got to spend some time in the harbor getting fueled up, getting all the passengers on, getting stabilized, getting all your food supplies, getting all that on. Then the tugboats come in and start moving you around because you can't be on your own propulsion in the harbor. So without that happening last year, we would not have 57,000 miners. The reason why we got in and all our friends and relatives got in because of this. We looked at that and said, my Lord, $1.25, $2.50, $3.75, $4.25, and it's just stepping up. And everybody said, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. So 57,000 people get on. But we were on Dextrade and Bitmart. We were in the harbor. So about October of last year, we got out of the harbor and we got on 10 other exchanges. Now we're a real cryptocurrency. Now we're out of the harbor and the tugboats have disengaged and we're on our own. Now we're going to see what the open ocean does to us. So I look back at that last year and said, yes, it was necessary. It was a foundational year to get everybody on board, to get 20% of the mines sold, to get all our friends and relatives on that didn't know crypto, that needed to see a nice, smooth staircase step up of the price to have the confidence to get on board. If we were starting now out in the open ocean, it would be very difficult to get people on board that didn't understand cryptocurrency, didn't know how to find the diamond in the rough, did not know how to look for those foundational elements. So even though it was rough, it was necessary. So now we're in the ocean and we are moved by the swells that move all the cryptocurrency. So when Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, when they go down, guess who's going down? We are. Because we're out with the big boys now. We've disengaged from the tugboats. But that's how we're going to get to our destination. So we needed 12 months in the harbor, getting all the foundation in play, and now we're out. And so now we've come to down to the value of the coin of where it should have been had we not had all that support going on in the harbor. So fear not, let not your heart be troubled. You are right where you need to be. And now we're going for the growth. So it's not good to look at the price. It's the best thing to do is look at your foundation. Do we have the foundations in place? Do we have a program and a plan where people are being rewarded for their participation? How's the network? How are the mines doing? Are we getting our daily rewards? Are we seeing what we predicted? That the volume of coins that are being produced on a network on a daily basis, as that's distributed out, are we seeing that gradually go down? Yes, because there's more and more miners come on board. So where our destination is basically 1/10 of a coin a day. When 1 million of those mines are sold, then 95,000 coins that are produced on the network on a daily basis, that 95,000 coins divided by 1 million mines, that's 0.095 coins per day. 1/10 of a coin is where you'll be at if you have one mine, when all the mines are sold. So you'll gradually see the distribution of those coins going down, and that's fine. It's supposed to. So we don't want to get shocked. I'm going to put some numbers up here on the board that is where we are right now. So there's 1 million computer nodes in the network. And they are, as we add more redundant centers across Texas, then we'll get smoother operation. But we're still going to get the 95,000 coins produced on that network on a daily basis. So the number of mines that have been purchased or built, I should say, in that network is 298,200 out of that 1 million. So we are about 30% built. That's good. We don't want to be 100% built at this stage. We want you to come on in, your family, your friends, while we've still got 1/3 under our belt and we've got 2/3 to go. Because it's not yet above the ground. CNBC are not talking about it. Coinbase doesn't even know we're there. So all this has to happen before we come up out of the ground. This is putting the roots down. So out of the number of mines that have been built, and Bobby's buying all these time, as we buy these mines, then he has the money to go to China, buy carbon shipping containers and put all these mines in it and put these redundant centers across Texas. So how many mines have been purchased? 229,700 have been purchased. You own one of these. So that's 23% as of today. Out of the 30% of the network that's in place, 23% have been purchased by you and me. So that's how many have been bought. These are mines, purchased mines. We have 58,050 miners. You are a miner. You own a mine. So if you've got a calculator there, you can take 229,700 and divide that by 58,050. What do you come up with?
8.95.
3.95. So basically 4 mines each. So out of all the mines that have been purchased by miners, the 58,050 miners, they're buying about 4 mines each. Makes sense. You want to have more than 1 mine. Because when it's all said and done, 1 mine will be producing 1/10 of a coin. So you want to get that figure up. So that's what 4 mines each. And if you have 95,000 coins produced on the network on a daily basis, digital TXC, 95,000, they have to be divided out amongst the mines that are being purchased. So let's get 95,000. Let's divide that by 229,700. 0.41. That's how many coins a mine will get. So less than half a coin a day, 4/10 of a coin, 2/5. So 2/5 of a coin right now per day per mine because of the number of miners that are coming in. So that's just some figures of interest where we are right now, a snapshot. That'll change next week, of course, because more miners are coming in and buying more mines. So if you take the 1 million and you divide that, you get the 95,000 coins and you divide that by 1 million mines, ultimately, we'll be at 0.095. And that's where we get our 1/10 of a coin per mine. Okay? So that's just sort of like a bird's eye view, 30,000 feet of just some of the figures that we're looking at today. All this is on our website. So you can get onto the website anytime and pull those figures off and see exactly where we are. So what's the opportunity for people? The opportunity for people is to come in and buy one of these mines and produce coins. So don't talk about the price of the coin. It's really immaterial. It doesn't matter a hill of beans what the price is. In fact, if you sell a mine based upon the price, you're going to end up in trouble when the price comes down because the basis for buying it now is sliding away. So you buy a mine based upon long-term investment in the opportunity of that growing. It may be 2 years down the road, it may be 5 years down the road. So it's for people to come on in and start making thousands of dollars overnight, it's unrealistic. There is an opportunity in the compensation plan to do that, but that's outside of this, the actual production of the coins. You got a picture if you want a picture? Happy? All right. Like, we'll need to get a new eraser. Takes the top layer off. All right. So the mines are being sold for $995 each, as you know. That equals 1 mine. And ultimately, and I'm going to do the ultimate because there's really not much sense in telling you the 0.41 coins a day you're getting today, because next week it'll change. So let's share with people where they're going to end at. So they have that in their mind. And then it looks like, well, I'm not down to 1/10 of a coin yet. So I'm still making more, but they're going to 1/10 of a coin a day with that 1 mine. It may be a little slightly more than that. They're aiming for 120,000 coins a day on the network. That's where they'd like to be. And the hope is that as we get these additional mines in place, as we grow that from 30% where we are now to another 60% on top of that, where we actually get all the mines, that things will be running more smoothly. We're actually crunching blockchains or creating blockchains every 3 minutes, not every 4 minutes, like what's happening now. So there's some drag on the network. So the anticipation is that we'll be at 120,000 coins on the network daily. We're averaging 95. Sometimes we're 85, sometimes a little higher than 95, but we're averaging around 95. So 1 mine is functioning at 100 mega hash. So we have a 100 million mega hash network. One mine is functioning at 100 mega hash. That's why it gets 1/10 of a coin a day for its functionality. And right now, you can still buy up to 9 mines. All right, that's the max that anybody can buy. That's part of the foundational pillars of this network, so that major corporations and international entities can't come in and buy 51%, 60% of the mines and own it. As part of the guiding principles of Texit coin and why it's going to be so successful. Part of what AI said is that the insiders have to have their mines first before the corporations get involved. Now, the corporations won't get involved with Texit coin, but that was just giving me the history of the coins that have been successful. There has to be a foundation of people in it first before the big entities get involved. So we're okay. So right now, if you buy 9 mines, you get 1 free. There's no other freebies less than 9. The 5 plus 1's gone. The 9 plus 2 is gone to 9 plus 1. So if you want a free mine, you've got to buy 9 to get that. So 9 mines plus the 1, that's going to be functioning at 10. At 1,000, thank you. 1,000 megahertz, mega hash. And you're now at 1 coin a day. So I've asked myself, if the very last person, if my friend Herman came along and I said, here's your opportunity to buy a mine. He said, well, I want to buy 5. I said, you can't, we only got 1 left. We're at 999,999 mines sold. There's 1 left. Do you want it? Well, how lousy is that? I'm going to buy 1 mine. They make 1/10 of a coin a day. So if this doesn't work for the last guy in, then it really doesn't work. It's got to be favorable and successful for the very last person to get in. Now, they may not get all the ice cream and the cherry on the top that we got in a year or 2 before, but at least it's got. Let's look at a year. So if 365 days in a year, and I'm getting 1/10 of a coin a day, what is that, Raquel?
Oh,
3 coins and 65.
That's how many coins?
3 coins and 65.
I get 1/10 of a coin a day, and there's 375 days. Is that 36 coins? 36 and a half coins. Am I right?
No, cut the 0.
oh, you're saying 3.
365 days, and it's 1/10 a day. So it's 1/10.
36.5.
There you go. 36 point
3
coin.
coins and 65. 3 coins and 65.
No, 36
Wait a second.
coins.
Wait a second.
$36.50.
No, it's not dollars and cents. This is how many coins.
I understand.
Yeah, but you're
What's
saying-
10% of 365?
Yeah, it's 36.50 coins.
Yeah.
36 and a half coins a year.
Correct.
All right, let's do that. All right, so if I'm the last turkey coming in and I buy 1 mine and I'm getting 1/10 of a coin a day, I'm making 36 and a half coins a year. Now, if I wait a year, 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, and that is worth $500 a coin. What's 500 times 36 and a half?
$18,250.
Is that worth it? If I paid $1,000 and I waited for it to be at $500 a coin and I get $18,250 out of it, is that worth it?
Yes, sir.
Well, then it's a good deal for the very last person who cannot sign their mother, their brother, their sister, their uncle, and their aunt up and can't get any commissions. There's no points left. They can't earn any more hash power. All the hash power is gone. So if my coin is that, what if the coin if they wait for the coin to become $1,000 a coin. Then I'm at 36,500 for the year. Of course, they'll have more coins than that. By the time it gets to 500, they'll have more than 365 or 36 and a half coins. But that just gives you an idea. If my mine is producing 36 and a half coins a year, because I'm only making 1/10 of a coin a day, I just got to wait for the value of that coin to go up and cash out. Next year, I'll have the same amount of coins made. I'm not losing. It's my mine is producing coins. They're still far better ahead of the person that just goes and buys the coins because there's no mines left. So I want us to get excited about the concept that at the very, very last of the track that we're on, and the very last mine sells, that person is making 36 and a half coins a day, a year. And every year they could just sell that lot. Next year they make another 36 and a half coins. And at the price of those coins and where they're going to be, they're making good money.
Yeah,
Only for 135.
right.
Exactly. For years to come. So I don't know anybody on the planet that wouldn't like to pick up a decent salary right there, $36,500 from cashing in 36.5 coins and do the same next year.
Another angle, a way to explain that, what you're getting at. You put down $995 for investment. How many people would say your investment will pay for itself in 3 years?
Exactly.
You're getting 33 and a third % return on your investment.
Yeah.
And my point there is your numbers there, 10 for coin, 36 and a half coins. After 3 years at just $9 a coin, you've almost paid yourself back $985. You virtually paid for the mine in 3 years.
And that's exciting. That is worthwhile somebody putting $1,000 down and getting the mine. So don't start talking yourself out of the value of this sort of stuff, because we've seen the front end of it that was loaded with a very, very generous compensation plan. So generous it was unsustainable over long term. It had to be ratcheted back so that the Titanic could keep floating. We hit an iceberg in October because the amount of commission going out, paying youth type of people, went over 50% of the revenue coming in, then 55%, then 60%. That's not sustainable. And so Bobby made some very, very major decisions to keep the Titanic afloat, because we all want to get to our destination. Now, we may have been used to sitting there on the boardwalk on the Titanic, having a 5-course meal and having the violinist play to us. And so a lot of people got upset because they went to a 2-course meal instead of a 5-course meal. And the violins were not paid anymore. But the goal is not the 5-course meal and the violins. The object is to get the Titanic to its destination. So the captain has to do whatever he needs to do, because that's his priority. His priority is not filling my belly with 5-course meals and make me sit there with a smile on my face while I listen to the violins. That's not his objective. His objective is to keep this thing afloat and whatever we need to do it. So that's why those decisions were made. Now, if you get a person and they buy the 9 mines and get the 1 free, and so now they've got 1,000 mega hash that they're operating with. And now, where does this person? They're making 1 coin a day because they've got 10 mines. So 1 coin a day, 365. So at the end of the year, you got 365 coins. All right? 1 year. Next year you do the same. Next year you do the same. For how long?
135.
135 years. So when you're gone to dust, your investment is still operating for your family. So 365 coins a year, a year, because it's 1 coin a day if you bought 10 mines. What is that times 500? A coin. 365 times 500 is?
182,500.
With 10 mines, only 1 coin a day. A lot of you got more than 10 mines. You're way ahead of this scenario. So just looking at 1 year, cashing the coins I'm making 1 year in, when the coin's 500, I'll walk away with 182,500. And I put 10,000 in. What if the coin's worth $1,000? And this is what I'm talking about, longevity. We've got to see this as a long-term deal and building those coins up. So at 365, I'm at 365,000. That's $1,000 a coin after 12 months of cashing them in. Would you like $365,000 this year?
Yeah.
And then next year you got the same amount that you've collected because you're still producing 1 coin a day. So you're in a good place, and the people that we're bringing in, we want to share long-term vision. We want to give them these figures. We want to give them the figure of 10,000. If you invest, it's not 10,000, it's whatever. Not even 9,000, is it?
89.95.
Wow, even better. Less than $9,000 and getting that mine while it's still free, you can see the incredible dividend that comes back on that sort of investment if you just hang on and don't do it. Now, that's without inviting anybody on. It's without getting extra mines because you're sponsoring people. That's just buying your mines, throwing your coin in the back closet and forgetting about it for 2 years. Forget Bobby Gray exists. Don't go to any of the functions. Don't watch him every Tuesday night. Just forget the whole thing. Throw this thing away. Well, not away. Know where it's at. And in 2 years, come and check it out. See if we are at 500 a coin. And you'll be very excited. And you haven't done a thing. Haven't had to harass anybody. So that is the bottom line that we need to think about, is the value of what we got in our hands and the number of mines. Now you can continue to get, you can only buy 9 mines, as you know, but you can get more mines awarded to you by the opportunity that is in the compensation plan. So let's just go into that for a few minutes. My friend Thaddeus in New Zealand is going for 100 mines. He's not content with 10 mines and getting 1 coin a day. He wants 10 coins a day. So whatever your goal is, whatever you feel comfortable and at peace about where you want to be, that's where the goal is that you set. And this is how you get there. You can either buy them, and you can only buy 9 mines, as you know. But now, as you start sharing this opportunity with people, say 3 people, then the company will give you a mine free. It's the 1, 2 free. So you get your mother, your brother-in-law, your sister in, relative, friend at work. So for every 3rd person that comes in, they give you 100 megahash, add another mine. So it doesn't matter if you've got 1 mine or 9 mines. You can go to 10 mines, 11 mines for every 3rd person you get in. And there's no time frame on this. You can get those 3 people in anytime you want, and every time you get the 3rd person in, you get 100 megahash. If you get those 3 people in within 30 days of when you join, they'll give you another 100 megahash. So a lot of people have increased from their 1 mine or 5 mines or 9 mines to 15 to 20 to 35. As I said, Thaddeus is going for 100. So all he has to do is keep inviting people in. Every 3rd person, you get a new mine, you do it within 30 days. Now, if you don't get these first 3 people in within 30 days, you don't get that extra mine, but the 3rd person starts the clock again. If it took you 3 months to get those first 3 people in because you really didn't know what you were doing, When that third person comes in, the clock resets. So you got another 30 days to get 3 people in, and you get another 100 mega hash. And if you do that within 30 days, you get the other 100 mega hash. So that clock is always there. If you miss it, you're not thrown out in the cold. It resets. So if you did this within 30 days and that within 30 days, now you've got 500 mega hash mine if you only bought 1 to start with. If you bought 9, got 1 free, now you're functioning with 10, and you did this, now you got 14 mines. 1400 mega hash, pumping those coins out. So this is very exciting, and how people can, over a period of time, while the mines are still available, share this opportunity with people. Share the investment opportunity. Share long term. Yeah, we're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin started in 2009. What's that, 17 years ago? And here it's $90,000 a coin. So we've got to get time in there for that growth to happen. And looking at the principles that are the support pillars for Texit coin, we've got those same pillars in place that the big boys had that got them where they needed to go. We are just in the infancy, and that's why we don't see it. But thank God we're in the infancy. You don't want to be like one of my friends that says, when it's on Coinbase, come and tell me. Well, I'll tell him. And he says, well, can I buy a mine? I said, no, they went. They went before we got onto Coinbase. You can buy some coins, but you can't buy a mine that's going to be producing those coins while you sleep. So this is the first opportunity of being able to increase the mega hash of your mines, and just sharing with people. And within 30 days of doing that, if you can do it within 30 days, it'll get you another 100 mega hash. And there's no limit to this. I know some people that got 100 mines. They bought 5. The rest they got just by bringing people on and sponsoring. And then they also grew through the commission plan by choosing hash instead of the USDC or cash for their commission. So let's start on the compensation plan. And again, we tell our people, this is not required. You don't have to do this. As I said, you can buy that mine and throw it in the back closet and forget about it. This is why it's not multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing, you are required to have certain personal volume to get an override on your group volume. And so people rush at the end of the month to buy stuff for themselves to qualify to get an override on their group. And so the garage is full of granola bars trying to qualify every month. And it drives you nuts. And all the people at the top are making all the money. But with this is not multi-level marketing. This is the guy that came in 2 years ago, put the same amount of money in that you're putting in now. Now he's got more coins than I do because he started producing them earlier. But he is down to 0.41 coins a day per mine. The guy that got in 2 years ago, his mine's not producing any more than my mine that I bought yesterday. It's a very fair system. Very level ground playing for this, which you don't find in multi-level marketing operations. So here's the 3 people that I got in. What the company does is says this: if you'd like us help to grow, if you want to help us grow this network, we've got commissions for you. Because we could spend millions of dollars in Disney World getting them on board. We can pay millions of dollars to influencers to get this word out. We don't want to do that. We want to hold these millions of dollars in and pay you, the mums and the pops, in the crowdfunding opportunity. We'll pay that to you. So you're not making money off the back of other people. The company is giving you commission for what you're doing. So these 3 people that came in, that you got an extra mine for, or 2 mines if you did within 30 days, they are bringing points with them because they are purchasing mines. So if this person bought 1 mine, this one bought 3 mines, this bought 6 mines, there's 10 points, basically $10,000 that your 3 people brought into the company when they purchased their mines. So the company has set up what they call commission potential. Basically, what is your potential of making commission? So they take 1/2 of the money, the revenue that came in by the people that you sponsored, and they put that in a pot for you, And so this $10,000 came in as revenue, they're gonna give you half of that. So $5,000 goes into your commission potential bucket. That's what you have the potential of pulling out as commission. So how does that work? Well, everybody gets their own little organization, a binary organization. So you have a left side and a right side, as you know. And these people that you sponsored go into your binary organization. So he's the first guy, they got 1 mine. The next guy came in, he's got 3 mines. This person bought 6 mines. And so you start adding these points up. The company says, if you can match 3 points on your left and 3 points on your right, we're going to give you $1,000 in commission. If you can match 6 points on your left and 6 points on your right, we'll give you $2,000 in commission that you'll pull out of your commission potential bucket. If you make 9 to 9 points left to right, we'll give you $3,000. And this is calculated on a weekly basis. So it's Saturday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, USA. They close the gates of the orchard and they count up the apple trees and the apples that are sold, and here they come up with their commissions. So here's 4 points on this side, 6 on that. So I made $1,000 because I can match 3 to 3, and I got the commission potential to pull it out of. So there's $1,000. Take that 3 away, take 3 out of that 6. So I'm starting next week with 1 point here and 3 points over there. Now, the new commission plan is this. These 3 people that you got in, as long as you got them in within a 13-week period prior to your commission, you qualify to pull that money out that you earned. So I got $1,000 commission because I qualified matching my points. I got the money available to pull it out of, and these people came in within the 13-week period that the system looked back from this Saturday night, looked back 13 weeks to see if I got 3 people in that 13-week period. That's about 1 person a month. So it's not a big challenge. If you're wanting to help build and sell these mines, it's not a huge task to get 1 person in a month. If you don't, then you don't qualify to pull this out. So if you just keep working at it, they'll keep looking back 13 weeks. So that $1,000 that I pulled out now brings my commission potential down to $4,000 I have available. So I bring my next 3 people in. Now, there are a lot of people trying to get these 3 in within 30 days, because that gives you that extra 100 megahash. If you don't get it within 30 days, you got 90 days to get them in to qualify for your commission. So here's the 3 people I bring in. I did it within a month. I get that extra 100. I get 100 megahash anyway for bringing them in, regardless of time frame. And let's say, for example, they bought 1 mine, 3 mines, and 6 mines again. They go into my organization. So we'll put number 6 mines over here. 1 mine, 3 mines, and then Saturday night rolls around. They close the gates, check it all out. I got 7 points here, 7 points there. So I qualified for $2,000 that week. This is looked at on a weekly basis. And what points I didn't use, I used that 6 and that 3 there, and 3 makes a 6. So I start my next week with 1 and 1 there. So this is looked at, and this is the next week. So they'll look back 13 weeks and make sure I got 3 people somewhere within that 13 weeks. I could bring them all in the same night if I need to. As long as they're in that 13-week window, they qualify me, lets the company know, yep, I'm helping you build this mine, and I want some money for it, some commission. I'm not just sitting on my rear end, adding my points up and not helping you build. That's one of the icebergs we hit. We had too many people. We had thousands of people that were making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a week from matching the points, and they had stopped bringing anybody in because this wasn't a qualification. So I was in that situation. I stopped bringing people in. but I built up my cash potential enough that I just need to qualify my points. And so long term, it wasn't going to be achievable or balanced to keep the Titanic afloat. So it's more fair than what it was. When I looked at that compensation plan, I used to tell people this in our presentation. Man, that is a generous plan. I've looked and looked, there's got to be a hook in here somewhere. 3 months, 4 months, 6 months went by and I can't find this hook. It's got to be in here because this plan is too generous. Well, there was no hook, it was just too generous. It was true. And we made out like bandits while it was going good, but now the stipulation is you've got to be helping to build the company to get the commission, which is fair. I know everybody got butt chafed when it happened, but I don't know a company on the planet that gives their people commission and they're not selling anything. Can you imagine a company that every week paid its people, its salespeople commission? And the boss of the owner of the company. So how many sales did you make this week? None. Oh, he's $3,000 commission. How many did you make this week? None. He's $2,000. There's not a planet, there's not a company on the planet that would do that. And we were doing it. So that was one of the icebergs we hit. So how do you get to 3,000 a week? Because this is a nice number to have a week. Well, it's pretty easy to do. Oh, by the way, I went down to 4,000. But because of these people here that I brought in, 10,000 I brought to the company. So there's another 5,000 added to my commission potential. So my commission potential went up to 9,000. All right, so you're getting half of what the revenue is that you're bringing in. And as you use it up, it goes down. As you bring people in, it goes back up again, 50% of the revenue that they brought in. So you just add up the number of mines that they brought in, multiply by 1,000, and that's the revenue you brought in, and half of that goes into your commission potential pot. So how do you get to 3,000 a week? Well, what happens, as you know, some of the people in my organization also are sharing it with family members and friends that are not in my immediate circle. So they may have a person buys 3 mines, another person buys 6 mines. They are getting hash added to their account because they're bringing people in. Every third person, that person increases by another mine. If they do it within 30 days, they'll get 2 mines. And so these people in my organization are doing the same thing. This person they brought in bought 1 mine. This person bought 3 mines. And so all these points are being added up. And so it's not long before you may have 16 points up here of a Saturday night, 36 points over here, some that you brought in, but most of it from others. And it takes 2 to 3 months to get to that volume where they're bringing people in. And so right here, I can take my 9 to 9 out. That 16 goes down to 9 because you can't go higher than 9. If it's less than 9, it'll roll over. So that 36 goes to 9. Anything above 9 rolls off. And there's my $3,000 that I'll get in commission for that week. And your 3 ways of commission, as you know, is USDC. So if you have a Coinbase account, Kraken account, you can give them that receive code and they'll dump that straight into your account where you have your USDC. So you can get any one of these in USDC. You can get them in Texit coin, TXC. I've changed all my commissions over to TXC. When the coin's $1, dollar less, around $1, and I make $2,000 or $3,000, I'm happy to get that as Texas coin into my account. Because if I went for hash, I get another mine, and I know that hash, that 100 hash, if I get 1,000 or 200 hash, if I get 2,000 commission, or 300 if I get the $3,000 commission, that will ultimately be producing 1/10 of a coin a day. But if I get my $2,000 in Texas coin, there's 2,000 coins I just picked up. Wow. I just turned my commission into TXC and got right now at $1 a coin, I got 2,000 coins. You know how long it would take with my mind producing 1/10 of a coin a day to get 2,000 coins? Many years. And I got that in one chunk. So you can decide what you want. If you need to if you've got a bill that needs to be paid, get that in USDC. If you're still building your hash up, so you get to your goal, maybe 10 mines or 50 mines, whatever you want, keep taking that in hash until you get the number of mines that you're happy with, and then go back and get it in coins. It's up to you. You can change this every week. And that's how that operates. All right. Any questions? Clear as mud. So the compensation plan as it is today qualifies in two ways. One is having people that you personally sponsor. Now, if you do not have cash potential or you used it up, those points at the end of the week disappear. They don't roll over because you've got no cash potential for it to trigger. So you can have all these people underneath you and they're bringing all these points up, but you're not getting any value out of it because you have no cash potential. So the plan is just to keep active, keep bringing people in that you personally sponsor. And once they come in, calculate how much money was brought into the company as revenue, and half of that goes into your commission potential. And it's called commission potential now because it also affects your hash. Your hash pulls from your commission potential, your Texit coin and your USDC all pulls from your commission potential. The reason why they had it called cash potential before is because hash you could take out and it didn't lower your potential, the cash potential you had. So it's changed over to commission potential because everything in your commission now affects the amount of potential commission that you have available there. So qualifying by bringing people in over a 13-week period, you got 3 people active that you personally sponsored. They don't have to be active. They have to be personally sponsored by you over a 13-week period going back from that Saturday that you get your commission. So therein, and it's easy to get your commission potential. If you're bringing people in, you're automatically going to get commission potential because they give you 50% of the revenue based upon the number of mines that they purchase. And that's what you pull from in your commission. Again, that's not mandatory. You can take your mines and sit on it. But if you want to get extra mines for free, then this is the compensation plan that you get into. If you don't want any commission potential, you just want to focus on getting mines and just keep bringing 3 people in as quick as you can. If you get them in within a 30-day period, you get 2 mines, 200 mega hash. But if you just focus on the first step, which is to sponsor people, this actually takes care of itself because you're building commission potential just by bringing people in, and they're going to start working it. Their points are going to come up. So this part of it really just takes care of itself as long as you're sponsoring people. Yes, sir.
This person getting